Hey guys, it's Zorric again here at the Date Podcast and with Emma.
Hi everyone, how's it going?
It's good. I can hear them listening to us.
Yeah, I know, right? They're having another conversation back with me. Totally.
Yeah, and we have a special guest. Her name is Taty.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Good week?
Yes, very good week,
Yeah.
except for this weather, but all's good.
The weather is so crazy. It's cold, it's hot.
Well, I moved here
It's windy.
7 years ago to get away from the rain. I'm from Washington State, so I was like,
Oh.
depressing. So moved to Texas 7 years ago, and I'm just kind of missing the sun. No boyfriend, no kids. I had a job that was willing to transfer me, so I had the opportunity, and I took it. The majority of my friends got married at 19 and had kids, so I was like, psh,
That was not your path.
no ma'am.
Speaking of paths, you could never choose your path. It's just always just you can plan, but then the world just
Exactly.
craps on it.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter. Okay, so today we have a lot of cool things to talk about. The first thing is I'm addicted to dating apps. This is
I'm
from
addicted to dating apps.
I'm a dated.
I'm addicted. I'm addicted to dating apps. But I don't want to date. I'm in it just for the ego boost.
Which, yeah, I'm not surprised that this article was written.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And it's by Lucy Vine. It was
BBC.
BBC Radio, no, BBC UK. And April 5th it was released. And so it's a great article. What do you think about it, Emma?
I kind of agree with what the survey just says, or the article says in general, that basically like our generation or my generation, the millennials, is just on dating apps to be to like boost your confidence and to kind of like waste time or spend time.
It's like I don't really want to date, but he wants to
Right.
talk to me, so I'll entertain it for a couple moments.
Yeah. So I don't know who surveyed, but I do know that they surveyed that among the 26 million daily matches that Tinder claims, only 7% of male users and 21% of female users actually send a message when they match. So for me, like, that is a very low percentage. If you're saying, like, if you're talking about 26 million people.
I'm guilty.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not necessarily doing it for the ego boost. I could care less.
But why don't you?
So what's the purpose of
Yeah.
you swiping then? Like,
Yeah.
what are you getting out of it?
Boredom. I mean,
Okay.
I literally go home every day and I binge watch Netflix and Hulu by myself, and I enjoy my alone time. But sometimes just a small conversation can mean the world. And so swiping, get a little bit of some giggles in there when you read someone's bio and when it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I am guilty of having a match and not sending a message and continuing to swipe.
Yeah.
I know it's so bad.
You know, it could be the choice of show you're watching. Right?
It could be.
Because like if you were
If
really
the
into the
show's too
show, then
entertaining.
you would be just, focusing on the TV show or the movie.
But I like that it makes a really good point about, is this something that we actually do to our friends? Like, is this something that we actually do in our normal lives? And it's not. Like, I don't start text messaging my friends or talking to them in mid-conversation, just, like, look at them and turn around and walk away.
Oh,
So
I see your
I think
analogy.
I think there's a, like, being on our phones and technology has taken away a lot of like the good manners that we used to have, especially like online. I don't think that we're being as polite as we were before on dating apps. So like, this is annoying for me because like I'm actually going to dating apps with the expectation that like I do want to date and I want to have a match for the right reasons to like go on a date and actually like meet someone. So it's frustrating. I won't deny. This really frustrated me, but it also validated the point that I'm like, dating apps are not helpful anymore.
Yeah, and didn't we talk about, I think 60% of people on these apps, or was it 70, are looking for a relationship, but then they're not communicating. So I don't understand. There's a disconnect. Maybe it's just hard for some people to conversate. Or,
Well, see, I'm guilty of that as well. I can find myself being really shy up front. I know that there was a previous discussion that you guys had about meeting someone in person and not taking that opportunity to say, hey, I'd really love to hang out with you again. Here's my number. And they missed it and they reconnected on Tinder. And some may find that as an insult and some may find that as, oh, hey, you know, he was really nervous or she was really nervous. But I'm guilty of all of this. And it's not for me personally, for the ego boost. If I do find someone that I have matched with attractive, then I will continue that conversation. But it could be hit or miss. I could find you attractive on Tuesday, and by the time on Friday when we match, I'm like,
Yeah, and again, I think it's kind of like having that shiny new toy. Like once you acquire the shiny new toy, like what is the purpose of it?
Yeah. And a lot of times I don't read the bio. So once we do match, that's when I do go and I read their profile. I'm bad at that. And that's where the turnoff comes from, is from whatever's in your profile.
Is it because of the incorrect grammar? I'm joking.
That's one of them.
See, I'm not alone.
So as a man, how are we supposed to interpret that? Because you guys sometimes...
But it can be for a man or for a woman.
I think it's both ways. Yeah, for sure. I think that it happens whether you're male or female when you are like, because as a guy can do that to me and a girl can do that to you. It just sucks on both ends for it to happen.
It does. And did you read, there's a part where it says it compares it to people watching, swiping.
Yes. And so like for reals, I love to people watch. It's one of my favorite pastimes, especially when I'm out at concerts or public events. I love to people watch and create stories. I think it's just like the therapist in me, right? So it's something that I just do, but I don't do that when I'm swiping apps. Like I'd rather do that
There's
organically.
A purpose, right? You're not just looking at pictures.
Right.
Yeah. And so what is, as the therapist here, what are your thoughts when they mention getting the ding? So how does that make you feel when you get the ding?
So I think that, so it goes back to kind of like your neural pathway. So we actually haven't mentioned this yet. But you know, our brains are addicted to our technology. And so we're creating these new neural pathways that are based on this, like our interaction with our phone. And so when we are interacting with dating apps and we get the ding, like our brain is sending dopamine, and this is the hormone that makes you feel good. And so it's sending the dopamine or it's not I don't know, but I can't remember. Anyways, dopamine is in our brain. And so it makes us feel good. And so when we get the ding, we feel good. And our body's like, yay, happy. I got a ding. I have a match. And so it validates us into thinking, oh, this is just swiping is good. I don't have to do anything else besides swiping. As long as I'm swiping, I'm fine. And I'm getting matches, I'm fine. That makes me happy. A
connection either way.
So Taty, how do you feel when you get a ding? How does that... Do you feel that dopamine? You probably don't, but...
I don't feel the rush, like the dopamine rush, but like you just
like,
feel
happy. It's dopamine.
No.
I feel it.
I am actually really bad, and I mean, I can't have anyone to blame for myself for the reasons why I'm single. I have my notifications off on all of my dating apps, and I go like every couple of weeks just to check, and I go through the messages that I get, and I cipher through, you know, who's being a creeper and who seems legit and educated, and I'll message them back. And if they do, yay, someone to talk to, and hopefully we can have a date. And then if not, then I can block you or unmatch or on Tinder or whatever. But I don't get that excitement.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe because you have probably a lot of matches, right? I mean,
no.
Like you get jaded.
No, I don't.
They're just falling on your feet, and you know. Just,
oh, I wish. You know, the majority of the attention I get is when I go in Target in sweats. That's when I get the numbers. But when I'm cute on Tinder and okay Cupid, I get creepers.
Oh.
Like, hey.
That's
do you want to be
worst.
my side? I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. So, Emma, you talked about validation, which I agree with that. I feel like it does feel good.
It does feel
don't
good.
Get me wrong. It does feel good when people want to match with you and talk with you. So I agree with that. But I've also heard about the gambler's curse. It's the same thing. It's dopamine. Whenever You're pulling the lever.
Oh, okay.
And then you keep spending money, or you keep swiping, but then when it
Okay.
happens, you feel so good. So, but they say, I think it was they focus on millennials.
They do focus on millennials, because it's like our generation is kind of what is nope, I'm saying it wrong. How do I need to say this? Our generation is a generation that wants to be researched, or should be the one researched.
Okay.
Either way, both are valid.
Okay.
Same
One of
difference.
those.
Tomato.
And so, yeah, because I think we're the generation that's coming up, right?
Yeah.
We're like, we kind of have taken over the market. Like, think about, how just Apple has changed the iMessages for our generation. It's not the Gen Yers or whatever, the Gen Zers. It's for us, because we're the next market.
Yeah. I agree, and the millennials are the majority of the Tinder and Bumble. So I think it's like 78% or 79%. But also there's an example here in the article. It talks about how this person has been single, and they don't have an interest in marriage or even dating, but they still swipe.
Yeah.
But they don't bother on going on dates, but they just keep swiping, storing up matches. And this relationship coach says, she's alluding to, this is a habit.
Yes, it does become a habit.
Yeah.
Because again, it goes back to like the brain and the pathways that we've created. Our brain is used to swiping and getting the matches and just having the matches and then not doing anything proactive about it. I do like that the next thing she says is that she advises asking family and friends to set you up, getting out there, beat saying yes to parties, because it proves my point from the beginning. We need to go back to the old-fashioned dating where we meet in person.
At Target.
At Target.
Yeah. So this was a good article, very eye-opening. And there's just one more, I guess, point in the last paragraph. She talks about how, all right, maybe it's this person, but it's a lot of wasted time.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're doing something, but then you're focusing on Tinder or Bumble and you're swiping, where you could have been like doing the laundry or...
Well, if you're spending 20 minutes in the morning and then 20 minutes at night, that's 40 minutes a day. If you multiply that by 7 days of the week...
And she was doing that when she first woke up and then right before bed.
Right. So hold on. Let me get my calculator out real quick.
All right. Bring it out.
Okay. So that means we're spending 280 minutes a week. Wait, how many hours is that?
Well, that would be a minimum.
Right.
Yeah,
a minimum of like 4.5 hours,
Oh
like almost 5. And then imagine
swiping.
of just swiping a week. Imagine like the whole year.
I could have done 1 million push-ups in 4 hours. I mean, literally. That's a long time. I bet for guys it's more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So like we're wasting at least like 5 hours a week of our valuable time that we could be sleeping or cleaning.
But don't you think that it would somewhat be similar if you were to go out to a bar alone? Because I do. I go out to movies, to bars by myself. And I'll sit there for hours and watch TV. I try and stay off my phone. That is one thing that I have learned, that it is, it makes you look unapproachable if you're just sitting in a bar by yourself on your phone. So I try and make myself productive, but I won't get approached. And that doesn't mean that I'm out there to get approached.
Right.
But that time that's accumulated sitting alone at the bar, I could be swiping.
You could be, but what is your purpose of going out?
To meet somebody,
to potentially,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So like
sometimes it could just be for lunch. I might just meet someone.
And so like for me, like you actually being out somewhere is more proactive than swiping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't let my opinion on this like influence you.
I'm just listening. I've been doing what I've been doing for, ever since I could remember, and some things work out, some things don't.
Yeah. I think what we can gather from the article is that don't depend on dating apps. Depend on going out, to Target again. I love Target. Or going to parties or having friends set you up. It's
exactly.
Maybe people are spending too much time on Tinder or Bumble and they think it's like the end all be all to find somebody. But there's so many other ways, so many other avenues. So,
well, there's so much stigma on a time limit on, you know, oh, you're getting older, you should be in a relationship. Oh, you haven't dated someone in a while. What you know, what are you doing?
I get it, Grandma. I get it.
Right.
Stop it, Grandma.
I know I need kids. All right, Mom.
Hi, everyone. This is Emma. I've recently found a dating app I've enjoyed using, Bopsy. Simply, it's video speed dating. Bopsy gives me the ability to meet 6 guys through live video. At the end of each session, I pick either C for like or bot for dislike. When we both like each other, we continue the connection over chat messaging. Check it out today at bopsy.com.
Who loves to travel?
I do.
I mean, we all love to travel. And if you're traveling with a bunch of friends, maybe for me it's my buddies, or Emma or Taty, it's y'all's friends. It might be cool to meet some men, right? Let's say you're in New York or Cancun, right?
Yeah,
I did that in London.
Oh, did you?
I think I still had my Bumble app. As soon as I got to the airport, I got on my Bumble app so that it knew I was in London. And immediately I started swiping on people.
And
ding, 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 ding.
I got a few, but you know, like I have very limited Wi-Fi in London, so I wasn't able to message as much. But I just wanted to have matches.
Your intentions were there.
Yeah.
My intentions were there. My Wi-Fi was not.
Cock blocker.
Definitely. So this article is by Becca Grimm, and it's in the GQ. It was released last year, but I found that it was interesting because a lot of us travel for business or just like to travel in general. And she talks about just things you should do when you're swiping remotely or not home. One thing is, so when I first started dating, I would go wherever for work, and I would swipe, but then I wouldn't change my profile and I wouldn't say that I'm from Dallas. So I would match, I would talk, and then we would hang out, but
So they thought you were from the area?
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to broach that topic if you like the girl. But I don't know. But what the article is saying is that you should always be upfront.
Yep.
And I was not upfront when I first started. So
Bad Zorric.
So number
Were you
one,
not upfront because you didn't want for them to think, oh, he's in town, he's just in it for intimacy?
the booty. Yeah.
Okay.
That
makes sense.
Yeah. But the next one, I changed my bio and I put I'm from Dallas, and I got less matches.
So you're like lying actually was helpful for me.
It was just a little bit. But again, it says be upfront, number one. So once you land, I would recommend, just for me, I'm recommending to guys. And
Maybe
gals,
even before you land.
Yeah.
That way when you get off the airplane, you're like, oh, happy day.
Yeah,
Ding, ding,
especially if
ding,
you're
ding.
using their that feature. What is that feature called?
It's
that
called
Tinder has?
the passport.
Yep.
And what it allows you to do is you just set a different location, and then you can just, let's say I could set my location to Austin and swipe today. So that's a paid feature, everyone. So if you would like that.
I'm so bad. I haven't been on in weeks and know nothing about that feature.
Oh, you don't?
Well, all right.
Gosh. But you probably don't pay.
No.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I've contemplated on it, but
Yeah. I think it's 50-50,
Yeah.
but some people pay, some people don't. I think men have the propensity to pay because I think for me, it's just a way to get a leg up on the other guy. I think it's like kind of competition. So you get more features and you get featured more on the different apps, and they put you on the top rather than the bottom, and you have more profile options. So that's the benefit of paying.
maybe I'll try something different.
Yeah. And it also talks about the radius. So meaning whenever you land, you can set your radius to who you match with. So you can set to 10 miles, 25 miles. If it's a small town, like I typically travel to small towns, I would set it to 10 miles. Because anyways, you're not going to get many matches. And if you put it to 100 miles, there's no way I'm driving out 100 miles. Heck no. Uber would be so
You're
expensive.
cute and I like you, but
goodness.
honey.
Yeah. So have you guys ever swiped or you have, but Taty, have you swiped on a vacation or somewhere?
See, I'm so lame because I've only been to Cabo as far as like travel goes. And meeting someone wasn't
On your list.
on my list. And I could care less. You know, I was celebrating the beach, but when I do travel, it's typically home. So I have tried the Tinder back home in Washington, but it was people from high school that I didn't care about.
Oh,
Right.
So I was like, we just turned this back onto Dallas.
The same people. That's funny.
That I moved to get away from.
Right. Yeah. You're like, this is not.
You're like,
This is not what I
this is
came
not
home for.
Yeah, this is not what I want.
Yeah, no.
yeah. It also talks about having realistic expectations, because for me, sure, you match with these people, but are you going to really start a relationship with someone 1,000 miles away? I mean, maybe.
I'm going to say it's like 90% no.
Yeah.
It really depends on the circumstances of y'all both being on the same page immediately. And even then there's going to be hiccups.
Yeah, it's more of like a fun experience more than anything else. And like knowing that it's not really going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I think it also, if you do match, it's kind of cool because they know, where to go, the restaurants, where to hang out. So
basically we have to separate a permanent wanting kind of Tinder experience and a vacation fun type of experience with Tinder, I guess, when you travel, because you said, I know that it's not going to go anywhere. So traveling Tinders for booty calls and laying at home on the couch is, oh, he's cute, I might marry him.
Well, no, I think that like, kind of like what Zorric was saying, I think that traveling Tinder could just be about like meeting someone and experiencing the city through someone that lives there. Because think about, especially if you go to Europe, if you match with someone that actually knows Europe and can tell you the spots to actually go visit that are remote that no one knows about versus like everything that's on Travelocity.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't know the
Right.
cool spots, and sometimes they're not on Yelp or something.
Right. Unless you've like been there already.
So the last part of this article is, it's very important to me. It's be safe. Okay. So if you're meeting somebody in a different city, first of all, Netflix and chill is probably not the best thing to do.
No.
But go somewhere that's public, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it also says if you're traveling with somebody, make sure that person knows where you're at, because
For sure.
yeah, because
Send a location. Pre-Google your surroundings so you know
Yes.
what's around that area.
yeah, and it also says Google the person, because
I do that.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
But because you don't know, he could be the next Jeffrey Dahmer or Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, you normally don't find out till it's too late when it comes to that.
Like the knife is just so close. Yeah. So, okay, that's that article. I think these topics are very interesting to me because vacation. It's almost summertime. It's time to travel, guys.
Yes.
And you got to be safe.
Yeah.
And I really think with the vacation thing, it's, what are your expectations? What do you want? Do you just want to meet somebody and have fun, or do you want something serious? You have to tailor your profile depending on that. But okay, so that's all the time we have today. Thanks, Taty. Do you have any last words for the audience? Any wisdom?
Have fun, be open, and try something new. Seriously, just step out of your element. I know it's completely uncomfortable to do so, but
Yeah.
I am a firm believer in knowing what you want when you see it, and you're not going to see it from the couch. And I am seeing it from the couch, so I need to take my own advice. But yeah,
I think we learned from you that Target is the best place for you to
and
eat.
you know what? Target's right down the street from me, and I love it.
Yeah. All right, Emma. Anything for you?
Nope, just my Instagram. And that
It's
__ Emma P.
Okay. All right. Reach her at it's Emma _P. And you can reach me at Zorric Sia on Instagram and Twitter. And this was the Date Podcast. Thanks again. See you guys.
See
Bye,
ya.
everyone.